guys, what's going on? I should probably move my mic over to me. Sorry if there was a loud noise. So, story time with Missy. Fun, fun. So, I was thinking, which I do often, believe it or not. We're having some coffee this morning. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:50. And the past couple days I've been wanting to do this video of kind of like a story time of, is the reason I got back into paranormal a full circle of where I've come from. I don't know. Help me decide, because I'm kind of leaning that way. So let me give you a little backstory. This is all happening. This is all raw. This is me, myself, and I. It's one thing with my channel. I wanted to be all raw. Wanted to be me, my experiences, what I've gone through, in hopes to either help somebody, inspire somebody, for what it's worth, Mind you, this video might have some triggers. I don't know. I'm kind of getting still used to the whole trigger thing. And I'm very not I'm politically incorrect, apparently. I'm just me, and that's who I am. Take it or leave it. But anyway, I'm a deep thinker. I'm a researcher. I question everything. Not to the point to where I'm like madly questioning everything, but I can get that way. As you will hear in this story. This is the story basically of my life. Kinda. Not all of it, but the important parts that I'm trying to explain here, I guess. And getting back into the paranormal, I got kind of thinking of, am I coming full circle? Right? So, the reason I'm asking, let me give you some background, like I said. When I was, growing up, my religion was Episcopalian, Baptist. But I did go to Christian churches, and matter of fact, thinking about the story and how I wanted to tell it, I kind of had an epiphany, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, I went to Christian schools, I went to Baptist church, not Christian school, like Sunday school. I think I even did went to a Christian camp. I don't know. I can't remember back then. It was a long time ago. Mind you, I had older parents. When I was born, my mom was 48, my dad was 59. And to give you a rough estimate of how old they would be now, my dad was born in 1914, my mom was born in 1925. So I grew up with those kind of values. When I was about 10, my dad came down with Alzheimer's. And when I was 12, he went in a nursing home. And he passed away when I was 18. So, when I was that's the background story. Okay. So, Episcopalian, but don't get me wrong, my mom wasn't religious. My family wasn't totally religious, by the book, Bible. I don't even think we owned a Bible. I think she was just trying to she was probably just trying to get a break, because my sister-in-law would take me to church, or a friend of the family would take me to Sunday school, and, she's probably just trying to get a break from me. But, I like to think she was just expanding my horizons. Yes, we are a bunch of smart asses, just so you know. So around 15, 16, I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it was given to me or if I found it or whatnot. I got a book about, written by Amber Kay. And if you don't know who Amber Kay is, she was a white witch, or she's a witch. I don't know. I really haven't looked into her. But I remember that book being very significant in my life because I listened to her, or I read about her, or about being involved with nature, um, elemental spirits, um, north, south, east, west, what that all means. And I really related to it. So I decided I was going to be a witch, right? Now, here's where the epiphany comes in, because I was just thinking about how I was going to tell a story and everything. And I got thinking why I didn't like religion. I hated going to church. And it wasn't not that I hated the aspect of God. Well, I did hate the aspect that God was mean and that we had to be good or we'd go to hell. But I hated the aspect, I hated the feeling of it. Now, I am empathic, but back then I didn't know. And this is where the epiphany comes in. Because now, looking back, I felt like I was in a room full of fake people. And now that really played a significant part in a lot of things in my life. And it made me understand a lot more. But anyway, I always thought it was because I just didn't like organized religion. Um, but yeah, looking back on that feeling, it was like I was in a room full of fake people. Me being fake too, had to be prim and proper, and the era I grew up in. The era I grew up in was keeping up with the Joneses. Um, you know, and that'll come into full spectrum. So anyway, I decided I was going to be a witch. And I remember finding out what like pendulums were, what dowsing rods were, um, and everything. So I would go outside and I would take my pendulum or, homemade pendulum. I probably had a piece of yarn with a rock on it or something. Something like that. Um, Dowsing rods I bought, but they weren't the dowsing rods you see today. I had those too, but they were the water dowsing rods. Or a stick, a branch, I'd use them too. And I would go and talk to spirit. And then as I got older, Walkmans came out. You could record on Walkmans. So I was listening to see if anybody was talking to me. And I thought it was going along with being a witch. I wanted to hear what elementals had to say to me or spirits had to say to me. But I didn't look at it as the paranormal part of it, if that makes sense. Um, so I had like always witchy stuff around. And then I remember going online or not going online. Yeah, right. No, watching TV years later, and the show Ghost Hunters came on. And I'm like, wow, that's what I did. Well, this is weird. So then I got into the paranormal. I had already been doing this for a while and didn't know, because I didn't tell anybody. I didn't want people to think I'm weird. I mean, they thought I was weird, I'm sure, anyway, because I liked watching unsolved mysteries and stuff like that, creepy things. But I never told anybody that I was doing all that. So I get into the paranormal, and it's my world for a while. At this point, I have two kids, and yeah, just I'm a very focused person. When I'm in a situation or where I'm liking something really much, I'm very focused. Um, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But anyway, so I got in the paranormal. And it coincided to me with my witchy side. And nowadays, I'm a solitary eclectic gray witch. Back then, it was all about I'm a white witch, I don't do anything bad, blah, 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 blah. Was scared of what people thought of me. Today, now that I'm older, I'm 45 years old, and I'm like, I don't care what people think about. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't hold regard of who I am anymore. And that part of me used to be big. I wanted everybody to like me. I wanted, I didn't have a lot of self-worth back then. So, anyway, it coincided with my witchy side. And, I remember my son, we were at my mom's house, and my son, it was time for him to take a nap. And he was like 2, so because we were at my mom's house, he's not in his bed, I had to lay down with him, and usually that meant me falling asleep and taking a nap, right? So, we're laying in bed, I think he's already crashed out. And I get this feeling. Now, I've always had these feelings. Enough so to when I was younger, my mom got my ears checked, my head checked, meaning brain-wise, and everything, because I'd always get these, dizzy spells. And that's all I could think of. And the only way I can explain them is it feels like it's the same feeling as when you're in an elevator going down. It's that feeling. And I'd get them out of nowhere, and they'd last for 5 seconds. But it would end up with me sitting on the floor, kind of like, what the hell is going on? So anyway, I'm laying in bed with Ryan, and I get one of these feelings, and I decide just to let it go. Let the feeling go, because usually I'll wake up and I'll stop it or something. And I let it go, and I open my eyes, and all of a sudden, I'm looking down at me and Ryan, and I'm on the ceiling looking down. I remember thinking, what the? And then, boom, I slapped back into my body, and I sat straight up and was like, what just happened? Freaked me out. No lie there. Freaked me out. So that was my first experience of having an out-of-body experience. My first and only experience of having an out-of-body experience. Yeah, and let me tell you something, when I slammed back in my body, it hurt. It hurt tremendously, like I had been hit by a Mack truck. It was like running straight into a wall. But that's how freaked out I was. I was just like, what the? Boom. Now, my son was around 2 at that age. Yeah, around 2. He's going to be 22 in June. So about 20 years ago this happened. After that, I remember somebody spooked me and said that was a spirit trying to get into my body. That feeling of going down in an elevator, it was that feeling, he said, that somebody was trying to get in my body. So I blocked it all out. It scared the hell out of me. I blocked it completely. And I was like, nope, nope, no spirits getting in my body. But as years went on, I'd get these little dizzy spells again. It'd be sometimes I was like doing something mundane, like washing silverware. You know, when you get in that zone when you're washing silverware, and it's like, I'd have one. Almost to enough to where I felt like it was a calling, like somebody calling me. And, and that was the end of it. Because I blocked it out for so many years and I haven't, because I used to be able to sit down and put myself into that feeling. I can't do that anymore. I mean, I feel like if I really, really tried, I probably could, but not like I used to. I could sit down and make the feeling come on. Um, but never knew what that was. Never knew. So hopefully, if any of you know what that was, please leave a comment down below because I'd really love to know. Um, so that led into me really being in the paranormal. Really like staying up all night watching a couple people online that was doing it back then. So fast forward, I'm about 24 years old now. No, more than that. No. See. Yeah, I'm about 24, 25. Trying to think. I have a very bad long-term memory. Um, I have to go by my kids' ages. All right, so fast forward till about, anyway, I was about, I don't know, my daughter was born in 2006, so this had been 2008. I don't know how old I was. But raw me, people. This is how my brain works. Um, and I'm, like I said, really into the paranormal, staying up all night, um, waiting for my kids to go to school and my youngest daughter to fall asleep so I could go to sleep. Um, I really, you know, it was bad. This is why I don't go jump down rabbit holes a lot when it comes to controversies or anything like that because I'm a very focused person. And like if I was to jump down, say there was a conspiracy going on right now and I really was interested in it, I'm the type of person that will sit there and I'm completely focused on it. Completely. Enough so where my house would be array, my laundry wouldn't be done, unless my husband did it. The house would be a disaster because I I'm purely focused on just one thing. So I tend to stay away from controversies and rabbit holes because I'll jump down that thing and be gone. Um, so anyway, I think I'm stalling because this next part of my life is very hard. And this is where the whole trigger thing comes in. So anyway, I'm into the paranormal, mega. You know, everything in my head is, and I'm still the witchy aspect. I still have my altar. I have now all my books, all my crystals, a crystal ball, everything, and very focused on the paranormal, and then I got reading about like astral travel. And I'm like, well, is that what I did back then? But now that I'm older, I'm decided that no, that was an out-of-body experience. So I decided to astral travel. And if anybody, I don't know if anybody out there knows what the Akashic records are. It's If you don't know, it's like, to me, it's the relevance of St. Peter's book. Isn't St. Peter the one you meet at the gates, where he's got the book of life? It's kind of like that. Akashic Records have the history of everything about your life and everybody else's life. And what has answers to basically everything that you question. Um, and I decided that I want to see the Akashic Records and that I'm going to astral travel there. So I get into a meditative state, and I astral travel. Now, when I astral traveled, this threw me way off because I didn't know where the Akashic Records were. I knew they were in some sort of level in our mind or on a different plane. So I start astral traveling. I don't remember leaving my body. I don't remember floating above the earth. I knew the earth was down below. I was out in space. Okay. And here's the difference between the out of body experience and the astral travel. The out of body experience, when I'm looking down at my body, I sense that I'm in my body, or I have a form of my body. When I astral traveled, I felt like I was pure energy, like there was no form to me, if that makes any sense at all. But I felt like I couldn't like pick something up because I had no mass. So I couldn't like pick something up, and um so I didn't have the feeling of touch. Um I couldn't hear anything. Um but I felt the feeling of all knowing. Like, why would I think about grabbing something? I don't need to. That type of feeling. It was irrelevant. I didn't need to touch anything. So, um, so I get to the Akashic Records, and it's in a bubble. There's a stand there, like a music stand, holding this book, and the book's huge and very thick, and the whole thing's in like a bubble. And there's two beings, and we didn't speak out of our mouth. It was more like telepathy, but it wasn't telepathy. Or at least in my sense of telepathy. Like, I didn't hear words in my head, I just knew. Like, if I asked them a question and they answered me, I didn't hear the words, I just knew the answer. If that makes any sense at all. Now, these are all real experiences that I've had. I've never told, my husband knows, but I think he's the only one that I ever told about these things. The out of body experience, I might have told a couple people, but I'm not sure. But the astral travel and the other thing, nobody ever knows. So you guys are hearing it first. And think what you want. And like I said, if you have any insight to like why I went through this or what this all means, please leave a message in the comments below, because I analyze this stuff all the time, and I think this went on my spiritual journey. But anyway, so there was two beings I'd never seen. Now, when I think of aliens, I think of like that Alien in Dulcie that you see online, or see on TV. Um, I don't think of Little Great Men, but I think of Greys. These were like aliens I've never seen before, and they had a beautiful, maybe that's why royal blue is my favorite color, but a royal blue like aura around them. Like they were glowing. Um, they were glowing like this blue. And it was beautiful. And I wasn't scared, and it was like, oh, I know. It was like I knew. Excuse me. So anyway, here I am astral traveling to the Akashic records, and I don't even look at the records. You know why? Because I knew everything. As soon as I was up in space and going towards, I knew everything. In that form, it's not even a form. I felt like I was just energy, basically. I knew everything. All the questions that I had were already answered in my head. Can I remember them now? No. But I knew. I have that feeling of just knowing everything. So these beings, I didn't know, like I said, I've never. The glowing part, now there's two movies, and I'm gonna. Just bear with me. Sorry. Oh, look, a squirrel. Um, but there's two movies. There's The Abyss and Leviathan, and I always get those two movies mixed up because I love them both. I want to say it was Leviathan because that's the VCR cover that I'm remembering, but it could be The Abyss. I don't know. But anyway, it's where I can't even think of the actor's name. He goes, they're deep in the water. They're diving down. They fill uh, his oxygen thing, that they wear to go underwater. I can't think. It's early in the morning, and I haven't finished my coffee. So they filled the thing with water so he could breathe underwater and go deeper down. And he's got a little thing that he texts to the people up there at the ship because he can't speak to them. Hopefully you guys know what movie I'm talking about. Like I said, it's either The Abyss or Leviathan. But anyway, those creatures that he goes way down and they part the waters and he goes in there and everything like that and he's talking to these creatures. The way they glow is kind of what I saw. Not the actual creature itself or the alien itself, but the way it glows. That's what it reminded me of. So, that happened. And then I'd start to have really weird dreams of fighting charm style, balls of energy coming out of my hands and fighting bad people. I don't know why I remember that dream from back then, but apparently it's significant. But anyway, so that happened. And that dove really into my spirituality. I can't talk. And it's made me question a lot of things. Now, online, I would search different things, trying to figure out what it was I saw. Could never figure it out. And then, I dove into this really dark, deep depression. Really deep depression. And my anxiety kicked up. And it was a really bad time in my life. My kids, because of my depression and everything, went to go live with their father. And after raising kids for so long, that you kind of have this empty nest feeling. And I tried to commit suicide. And what happened was, I sat down, I wrote suicide notes to each of my kids, asking them to watch over each other, basically. And, sorry. Tried to end my own life. And my damn sister saved me. I'm just joking. I don't mean my damn sister, but yeah. So what happened was, I took every pill I could find in the house, and I lay down in my bed, waiting to die. And I did die. Nobody can tell me I didn't. So, the weird thing about having an out-of-body experience and astral traveling, a near-death experience is something totally different. The feelings. It's closer to astral travel, to where the feeling of knowing everything, if that makes sense. When I was leaving my body, and here's another thing about the out of body experience, when I went up, I felt like, and when I came back, slammed back down, it was body just up, okay, if that makes any sense. But when I died, it was, even though I felt like I was going up, I went out this way through the top of my head. I was laying down, and it felt like I was going up, but it was this way, out through the top of my head, to where, the, like I said, the out-of-body experience was just up, out of my body. This was going right through my head. And it's hard to explain to somebody, but when you're going up, or when you're going out like this, it still feels like you're going up. I don't know. As far as the dark tunnel, yes, I was in the dark tunnel. As far as the light at the end of the tunnel, I didn't see it, but it's kind of like I felt it, or I knew it was there. I didn't see it at all. All I saw was complete darkness. But the feeling I had. Now, I have never been able to explain how it feels. When they say peaceful, serene, it doesn't do it justice. The best person that I've heard describe having a near-death experience was Kevin Smith, talking about his mother's near-death experience. The way she felt, it was more or less, it was, yes, you had peace, you had serenity, but like she explained it, I didn't know you, I didn't have to worry about you, I didn't have to take out the dog, or worry about taking out the dog, or feeding the dog. It was that kind of, everything was lifted, if that makes sense. So as I'm floating, and don't ask me how long I was gone, or I have no clue. Enough to where I, knock on wood, didn't suffer any consequences. Like nobody found me. I woke up on my own. Is I was going up. I heard my sister's voice as my sister who had passed, Helen, say, in her voice, say, you need to get back home and take care of them babies. And next thing I know, I was waking up in my body. I don't know how much time passed. I honestly don't. I don't even think back then I knew. But I'm good now. I think the only reason why I got teary-eyed, I've never told that story. Ever. My husband knows about it. But that's it. So, skip ahead to last year, right? That's, between the astral travel and that, really, really woke me up to my spirituality. Like, I started questioning everything, you know. And that's actually, I think, in turn, why I came back to the paranormal after I tell you what happened last year. So last year, when I talk about rabbit holes, I went down a big rabbit hole last year. I don't know why. I don't know why it grabbed me and pulled me in. But I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And all I can say is, wow. Wow. Even to look back. So anyway, last year, I believe it was April 18th, 4/18. I think. I was trying to think about this before I started telling the story. It was either March or April, but I think it was April 18th of last year. Or no, maybe it started in March. That's where I got confused. It started in March. But anyway, I'll tell you the story and you can look it up if you want. So, this whole thing came across where this dude got this kinetic text in Army code. You know, where they come across, you get or a voicemail, not a text, a voicemail where you get the Johnny Bravo. Why is it Johnny Bravo? That made me laugh. Sorry. Bravo Alpha, whatever they're spelling out, right? So he has this voicemail with this kinetic code on it. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it spells out something like, they're coming for us, beware, 418, blah blah blah, right? So, and like 3 nights before, he had some dude, like, he was coming home from the bar or wherever. Some dude was standing across the street taking pictures of his house. And then he gets this on his voicemail. I went totally apeshit about this whole rabbit hole and went jumping down head first. Excuse me. But like everything, it was on Reddit. Everybody was into it. They were getting, I don't know if you guys know who Q is. He's with Anonymous, basically, or decodes Anonymous's code. I don't know. I don't know that part of it. Used to be into the hacker world, not anymore. So anyway, they were all in on it. So it was like, well, something's got to be going on. So I would, and it didn't help, because Eddie, my husband, knows how I am with rabbit holes. But it didn't help that him and his best friend Tom would come home from work and be like, well, what did you find out? You know, so I had to look for them. Right? So anyway, I'm shooting down because people were talking about aliens are coming and shit like that. It was a whole lot of wow. And I'm reading through this, right? So, and then somebody brought up like Pleiadians. And I'm like, what the hell are Pleiadians? I mean, I know the Pleiades stars, but what the hell are Pleiadians? So I'm searching Pleiadians, like everything, little minor details I'm searching online. What the hell does this mean? So I search Pleiadians, right? And I'm looking through these pictures and I'm like, what the hell? And then one hits me. There is a picture on my computer through Google, because I was searching it, of the being that I met when I astral traveled. What? How did this person know what the being I met looked like? What? And I remember sitting there and seeing that picture. We were out in our camper at that time. I was at the table doing my little research. Um, Eddie and Tom were in the living room part of the camper. It's only a little 23 footer. But we have two couches that fold into one bed. And we had, obviously, the couch is up. And Eddie was sitting on one, Tom was sitting on the other. And I must have had a look on my face. Because Eddie looked at me and goes, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "This 418 thing." And he's like, "Why? Are we going to die? What's going to happen?" And I said, "Come here." And it was enough to where he'd be like, he like came right over. Because he'd be like, "Okay, hold on." Finish talking to Tom what they were talking about, and then he'd come over, you know. You know how guys are. We love you. But, he come over, and I got this picture pulled up. And he's like, "What's that?" I'm like, this is supposedly Palladian. And he's like, "Okay." Like, that's the being I saw when I astral traveled. How does this person know? I remember looking at him going, how does this person know what I saw? And when I tell you it freaked me out, like, nobody should have a picture that I saw. And there's no way. Because let me tell you, when it comes to aliens, all growing up, I used to be terrified of aliens. I would not watch anything alien related. Even today, I'm a little freaked out. Not so much, but yeah, that freaked me out a lot. So it kind of woke me up to, I guess you can say I got into the whole everything's connected type of thing. Um, I really dove into my spirituality then. Excuse me. Um, and mind you, when I say that I'm a witch, I'm not pagan. I'm not Wiccan. I don't have any religion. Um, I never, and you guys might hate me for this, but I never really got the concept of God. I mean, I do, but I'm scientific. This is where it's hard for me because I fight my own self. I'm spiritual, but I'm very scientific. I analyze everything when it comes to stuff like that. My belief is what you believe. If you believe what you believe, this is going to be so confusing. To you, that's what you believe, and that's what's going to happen. I think I've said this before on while I was chatting with somebody, or chatting in a chat room, watching one of you guys. Um, I believe if you believe you're going to heaven, you're going to go to heaven. I believe if you believe that you're going to be reincarnated, you will be reincarnated. I think it goes individually by what you believe. I honestly do. Um, so yeah, that's how I got into this whole connected, everything's connected type of thing. And I mean, these are very real experiences. I'm not gonna. I mean, you don't know me from a bag of assholes, but I'll tell you right now, they have happened to me, and I've analyzed and overanalyzed and thought about it so many times. That's why I want your insight. Um, but anyway, last year I kind of got into this. I was mad. I was upset at the way of life. And I said, I'm sick and tired of this life. Or not sick and tired of this life as in, like, I'm suicidal. That's not what I meant. I'm just sick and tired of living this way because we're constantly struggling and, stuff like that. And I decided that I was done. I was done with being depressed. I was done with being in my anxiety. I was just done. And when I did that, when I sat there and talked about my depression, it was like, I have depression. I didn't fight it anymore. Because keeping up with the Joneses, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm good. Right? But I was always fighting that I had something wrong with me. I had something wrong with me. I had something wrong with me. Once I sat there and was like, yeah, I have depression. I admitted to myself, I have my good days and I have my bad days. You know, or when my husband texts me in the morning if I'm still sleeping when he goes to work. He'll text me, good morning, baby. That's our little lingo. How are you today? And I'll sit there and say, I'm doing good. Smoke? Because we live and work in the same building. Well, he lives and works in the same building. I live here. I used to work here at the hotel. But, or I'll say, I'm having a bad day. And he'll be like, I'm sorry, baby. I hate hearing that. And I'm like, I know. But just admitting I have a bad day to somebody, that whole depression, last year, no kidding, that whole depression from me starting to do that weight lifted off of me. And I really went from having bad days, like every week there was a couple bad days, to maybe having a bad day once a month. So that got me thinking, are we putting this on ourselves? Right? It's, I swear, it don't make sense to me either. But this is how my mind works. Especially being scientific and spiritual. It's not a good combination because, I'm a witch. I've done spells, I've cast spells, and they've worked. Okay? Then my science mind is like, okay, yeah, it worked. How? How did that, right? So, I think that's why I got back into paranormal. It drew me back in. Is because through you guys, I'm taking what you guys think and really analyzing it about somehow everything's connected. Paranormal, cryptozoology, aliens, controversy. Well, controversy is just fun. It's all connected somehow, and I'm trying to figure out. Oh, sorry if I hit the mic. I'm trying to figure out how it's connected. Yeah. So this is where I stand. I'm sorry for this long story. It's almost an hour long. But now you know where I stand, where I come from, what do I think about, how I think about, shiny things. But I want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you guys think's going on with me? Am I just crazy? I don't use that term lightly. I hate people being called crazy. Another point to this is I used to care a lot about how people thought of me. Or what people thought of me. And I still do, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have friends. I want them to like me, and I want to treat them well, and I do treat them well. Except when I get yelled at for not calling people back or getting in touch. Um, if you see my Facebook, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, but as I'm starting to learn my self-worth, things are getting better in my life, if that makes sense. Might be baby steps, but it's steps forward. Take that into consideration. Okay? Know your self-worth. Because it's really, I think that's why I do these videos without makeup or anything like that. Is because before I couldn't let people see me without makeup, and I mean, I wasn't bad to where I had to do makeup to take out the trash. My best friend, Robin. Not anymore. Now that we're older, she don't care either. But I would never do this without having my makeup on or anything like that, or doing my hair. You guys are lucky that I brushed my hair before. No, I'm joking. But not really. Because I know my self-worth. I know there's a message in this message somewhere that might help somebody. Know your self-worth. And know what you believe does not make you crazy. It's my biggest thing about aliens and cover-ups. It's my biggest thing what pisses me off. Because if the government comes out and says there's aliens, I'm not going to be scared of them. But I am going to be pissed for all the people whose lives they destroyed. The government. Talking about the government. Who they put in, crazy houses or mental wards for thinking they were crazy for seeing aliens. For all the lives that, people just thinking they're crazy themselves. And if this comes out the truth. Oh, and my biggest thing about this whole video was, what's that got to do with paranormal, right? I'm working on that. I'm starting to think that the paranormal, we manifest that. But more on that later. Thanks for listening, guys. I love you guys. I can't thank you enough for all the people who've shown me friendship the past 2 weeks of me coming back to the paranormal and, chatting with people. I think it's been a couple weeks at least. And bringing my passion back out. I mean, really, if it wasn't for you guys, like some of the videos the live chats, excuse me, Danny, Francis, what's that? There's so many. I just love you guys, and I can't thank you enough for showing me friendship and accepting me into your worlds. I thank you. I love you guys. I'm going to end this here. And like I said, if you have any analogy of this video, besides that I'm crazy, or that, I don't know, please leave it down in the comments below. I appreciate it, guys. Until next time, take care. I should be getting my live back soon. For anybody who don't know, I was going to do live chats and stuff. My phone broke, and I can't get it to work on my computer. I'm trying. Every day I try. I get people into my chats, and then it goes kaput. But, I'm trying, so we'll see what happens. But I should be getting a phone. I gotta order it. and it'll be coming through. So until next time, talk to you later. Take care. Bye.